This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, the university's loss is the Polytechnic's gain, and it's resulting in an increase in student numbers. The fight to save Dunedin's historic courthouse building steps up thanks to the humble postcard. And the city is swarming with lawyers who are having a spot of fun before getting down to business. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. The loss of the University of Otago's design faculty is a gain for another local tertiary institution. Otago Polytechnic's School of Design is set to expand in the wake of the closure, with plans in place for new programs. And while the number of places to study are decreasing, staff say design in Dunedin is safe.
The future of the city's now sole School of Design looks bright. Staff at Otago Polytechnic are preparing for an anticipated influx of students into several design courses. The expected surge comes after the recent decision to close the design department at the University of Otago.
We've obviously been in contact with the university and we've been talking about how we can accommodate the needs of their current students, but we're also anticipating that we would see a flow of students into our programs here, potentially as a result of the closure.
The closure of the university's Design Studies program was a blow to students who campaigned for it to be retained. But those at the Polytechnic say the loss can be easily absorbed.
We are already delivering similar content, students can, select to come to the Polytech and cover some of the design thinking content that they were studying at the university.
The Polytechnic is also in talks with Aoraki Polytechnic, with its Dunedin campus set to close. That's expected to open even more doors for the School of Design to expand its offerings. Any changes are anticipated to be easy for current and future students to adjust to.
Well, we've always had students that flow between those three institutions, so in some ways that's not new, but I guess the program at the university has had a slightly different flavour, so we've complemented each other.
Applications to study next year are starting to be lodged, giving Polytechnic staff a clearer gauge on interest. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
Local volunteers have been forced to cancel their plans to help with international emergency relief efforts. More than 20 locals were planning to help build houses in earthquake-stricken Nepal later this month. But they've been told the project is off because there's a shortage of fuel and other supplies. Habitat for Humanity staff were organising the build and say they can't guarantee volunteers will be properly cared for. Locals were due to leave for Nepal in a couple of weeks and return after 10 days. They've each raised at least $6,000 for the trip. The volunteers have instead been offered similar aid work in India and Thailand. A local lobby group is getting residents to send postcards to Parliament. Members are collecting signatures in an effort to save the historic Stewart Street courthouse, and they've got several ministers in their sights.
Courting the public's attention. Leaders of a local lobby group are collecting signatures in a bid to save the Dunedin courthouse. Its fate is uncertain, with the estimated cost of strengthening the historic building in the millions. But it's a price many believe is well worth it.
We're just saying to a number of cabinet ministers, the 5 who have some direct involvement with the building, stop messing around, get on with it, and bring the courts back to where they should be in the Category 1 historic building that was built for that purpose.
Justice and Courts Minister Amy Adams is claiming it'll cost more than $15 million to restore the courthouse. Already, the government spent about half that amount on a temporary court in High Street, which some consider substandard.
$6.8 million has been wasted on a building that's not fit for purpose. The police now get taxis across town, would you believe, to get to the new place. And we've got a Category 1 historic building that's sitting empty because of the incompetence of justice.
So far, the group's printed 5,000 postcards. The campaign's designed to be an easy way to engage the public and attract the right attention from those in power.
I can confidently say I've already posted over 1,500 and there's another 200 plus there today, and we'll be back here in George Street on Friday. So we're going to keep doing this, and I know how ministerial offices work, and I know this message is not a message that's going to be ignored.
The postcards are just one step being taken to catch the government's attention on this issue. An online petition is also nearing its goal of 5,000 signatures. It's already been sent to ministers who have yet to respond. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
Dunedin will be visited by Prince Charles and his wife Camilla when they tour New Zealand early next month. The royal pair is expected to spend 2 nights in the city. They're due to arrive in Dunedin on the 5th of November and travel on the Taieri Express train. They'll also visit Toitu Otago Settlers Museum and the Orokonui Eco Sanctuary. The Prince of Wales will tour local business animation research, while the Duchess of Cornwall attends a UNESCO literature event at the university. Their week-long tour of New Zealand also includes Wellington, Nelson, Westport, Auckland and New Plymouth. Hundreds of lawyers have just arrived in Dunedin for the country's biggest family law conference. They'll be discussing a range of serious issues over the next couple of days, but first they're having some fun.
Raising the bar. A train full of Christchurch lawyers has just chugged into the Dunedin railway station. The legal professionals hired the Silver Fern rail car to travel to this year's National Family Law Conference, being held locally for the first time.
It's normally held in the bigger centres, so we're very excited to be able to host it in Dunedin this year.
The New Zealand Law Society's 2-day conference is being attended by about 350 family lawyers and judges. They'll be hearing from international keynote speakers and discussing ways to improve the country's family law system.
The government decided to take some resources out of the system, about $30 million. So it's a system where we have to do the same thing with less resources. And we want this conference to be positive about that, because we can't cry over spilt milk. We just have to be better at what we do.
Delegates will also be learning about how technology can make family law easier and faster for all involved, especially clients. And there's a special focus on the relationship between Australian and New Zealand law.
Because, of course, a lot of our families in New Zealand travel to Australia and vice versa.
Conveners say family law covers just about every aspect of society, so the conference is packed with a wide range of sessions. Delegates are hoping their work in the city this week will lead to better outcomes in the courtroom.
The conference is a fantastic way for us to get together, to take inspiration and instruction and encouragement from one another with a shared goal of serving families better.
And in that respect, this local event is set to have a long-lasting impact nationwide. Rosie Mannins, 39, Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, research reveals which energy sources our city relies on, and cruise ship season is finally underway as the first ship docks at Port Chalmers.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now, they will love you forever.
Mosgiel Mowers Plus can help you with products to make your garden maintenance jobs easier. Lawn mowers, ride-ons, chainsaws, line trimmers. Sales and service are our specialty. Mosgiel Mowers Plus. Phone 489 3572 22B Gordon Road, Mosgiel.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices is just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, your guaranteed a treat.
Big Orange for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Mobility Scooters Otago. Mobility scooters, new and used, electric manual wheelchairs, strollers and walkers. Free home demonstration and delivery. Call Tony on 03 455 2875 or visit our showroom, 211 King Edward Street, opposite Westpac.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
Welcome back. Thousands of dollars in community grants has been allocated to local businesses and organisations. The Otago Community Trust has just given out over $160,000 in its latest funding round. Most of that money is being channelled into the local community. A large portion is for projects to improve business management in groups around the city. That includes IT training and other professional development for staff and volunteers. It's all aimed at ensuring residents get a better service. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 has closed the day up 24 points. It's now at 5,727. The Dow Jones is down 50 points. And to the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is up against all the currencies that we follow. A study into the city's energy use has been completed at the University of Otago. It was commissioned by the Otago Chamber of Commerce and carried out by Dr. Cleanne Gabriel of the Centre for Sustainability. She joins us now to discuss the results. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
What did you look at with the study?
What we were trying to find out, what we were trying to do was to quantify the energy that comes into Dunedin City. So we were basically counting how much of electricity, coal, wood, and some transport fuels that are coming into the city on an annual basis. And we used 2014 as the base year for that.
Who else was involved in the research?
Well, as you mentioned, the study was commissioned by the Otago Chamber of Commerce and the Dunedin City Council in partnership with the Centre for Sustainability. So together with Dr. Janet Stevenson and Professor Jerry Carrington, who are also of the Centre for Sustainability, we sort of worked on collecting the data and analysing it, and also just trying to get as much information out of local businesses and energy stakeholders as possible, really.
Tell us about some of the key findings.
Well, I think what sort of stood out most of all was that about 58% of the energy that's coming into the city is actually just from petrol and diesel. And that's what we're using for transport. And then 31% is electricity, and then we've got very small percentages of coal and LPG, etc. But I think what's most important for the city going forward is the finding that about less than 0.1% of that energy is actually generated within the city's boundaries. So in terms of long-term sustainability and in terms of energy autonomy, that's something that we really need to think about going forward.
Any particularly surprising results?
Oh, I wouldn't say it's surprising. I think most of the findings were pretty much on par with what we're seeing throughout New Zealand. I think where we might find some surprises would be at the next stage, which is when we really get into the nitty-gritty of energy use. What are people actually using energy for and why? And that, I think, is where we may find more sort of surprising or unexpected results. Yeah.
How will the information learned in this study be utilised?
Well, I'm hoping that it's repeated year after year. So as you mentioned, it was just a baseline study. So this was the first year, 2014. And what needs to happen next is that every year from now on, we sort of need to continue measuring how much energy is coming in, and that would then be able to be used for policy making and understanding where to next in terms of energy use and sustainability in the future.
Were there any challenges in collecting this research?
Oh, there were lots of challenges. One that comes to mind at the moment is finding information on the petrol and diesel use in Dunedin. Was quite hairy. But one solution that we came up with was to look at tax data. So I was able to sort of go back and look at the taxes that were paid on petrol and diesel for last year, and then we were able to extrapolate from there. So that challenge has been overcome to some extent, I suppose, yes.
Was there anything that you weren't able to find out?
We still do not really know how much wood is being used as fuel in Dunedin. And I suspect that that's mostly because much of the wood that's used for heating, for example, is self-collected. So people who are going to the forest and cutting their own logs for heating. And there needs to be some work done, I think, around that to sort of get a firm understanding of what our use and consumption of wood energy is.
Dr. Cleanne Gabriel from the Centre of Sustainability, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Rebecca.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, cruise ship passengers disembark, with many choosing to spend time in Port Chalmers. And we get your thoughts on a new DCC maintenance contract.
Sir Bob Charles, New Zealand's greatest golfer and still going strong.
I'm sure that Sportsville was a contributing factor to my success, and I'll continue to use it.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville, a product so good he puts his name to it.
Well, I believe Sportsville helps maintain your quality of life.
Now being used by active men and women globally to support strength and mobility.
It works for me.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville in the new all-black pack. Call now for the Sportsville special, 0800 502 402.
Granddad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St. Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Granddad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
Pallet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pallet fires, so easy, so efficient.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boy store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices are just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget, we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, your guaranteed a treat.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
Every season, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Welcome back. University students have just started their final exams for the year. Almost 200 students filed into Smithill's Gymnasium this afternoon for tests on science and education papers. About 14,000 students are registered to sit exams in Dunedin over the next few weeks. There will be just over 540 different examinations held. Students outside the city are also being tested for distance papers at the university's various campuses around the country. Some Otago University exams are also being held in Australia, Hong Kong, London, China, the Netherlands and South Africa. Examinations end on Saturday the 7th of November. Cruise ship season is in full swing with the arrival of the first vessel. The Golden Princess docked early this morning and passengers have spent the day exploring Dunedin, but some didn't venture far.
An imposing addition to the local landscape. This massive ocean liner docked in Port Chalmers to kick off the cruise ship season. While many on board chose to make the commute into the city, some decided to stay closer to the shore.
The port is absolutely beautiful. I love it. Yeah, it's very quaint and it obviously has got a lot of history.
I'm looking for local food and perhaps some New Zealand music.
We're going to walk around, we're going to try to support the local economy with our New Zealand dollars.
Local businesses are feeling the heat as Port Chalmers is the first thing passengers see after departing the 2,600 capacity vessel. The town's quiet during colder months, so touring foreigners provide a welcome boost.
It's a very small town, and during the winter, obviously, you know, we rely on people coming from in Dunedin and surrounding areas and things, and obviously, you know, weather sometimes puts people off driving out of town. So, yeah, it's really good for us having a few extra people around.
This cruise ship season's expected to generate about $40 million for the local economy. On average, each passenger spends more than $100, and Port Chalmers shop owners are hoping to reap the rewards.
Hopefully, really busy, and hopefully in about a couple of months' time I'll be closed because I'll have no stock left.
Dunedin's expecting about 70 cruise ship visits between now and next April. The number of passengers set to disembark will outdo last season, creating even more business in the city. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
The City Council has awarded a maintenance contract to local Black Power gang members. It's worth just over $52,000 and includes weed and litter control as well as path maintenance. A Word on the Street team asked members of the public if they think the council should do business with gangs.
I think it's good for the individual themselves because they can get their life back on track if they take the opportunity properly.
I think it's stupid because they'll just be more mean and hurt people more.
Well, as long as they're qualified, I don't mind. I mean, everyone's got the right to do some work, and if they have set up a company, good luck to them. And if it keeps the cost down for the city, even better.
I don't actually have a problem with it. My parents used to live next door to the Mungle Knob and they were perfect neighbours, so not a problem to me.
I'm all for giving somebody a second chance to make up for, bad deeds in the past. At the same time, if somebody else is more deserving of a job and more need for work, that's a hard choice.
Depends on what type of work they're going to get. If it's doing roads, yeah, fine.
But as long as they can
do it, all up to standard and everything, it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, if you can make changes in that, it's good. Doesn't matter whether you're patched up or not. If you can do good to the community, then good.
Oh, no. From experience, getting jumped not that long ago, not really.
It might be a good idea because they know more about the streets in council, because don't think they do much really. So yeah, hopefully it's good. If not, never mind.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. Otago Polytechnic is gearing up to take more students as it offers programs being axed from other local tertiary institutions. Thousands of postcards are being sent to Parliament in the latest effort to save the city's historic courthouse from abandonment. And about 350 family law professionals are in the city to discuss how the justice system can be improved. Well, it's time now to find out what's going to be on the pages of tomorrow's Otago Daily Times, and Phil Somerville joins us. Good evening.
Hi, Rebecca. Let's start today with the editorial. It's on a divisive issue, the tragic case of the hunter on Stewart Island who shot his son. Now, he was discharged without conviction. No penalty could ever would mean anything given the tragic circumstances. But should he have been discharged without a conviction? Should he have been convicted? What sort of message did that send to hunters and about hunting deaths? So we look at that issue. The Charles and Camilla visit, we've got lots of stuff about that, as you can imagine, and a stunning picture of the cruise ship pre-dawn arriving upper harbour in the Heads with a streak of light along the horizon. And the boys' high pupil off to Canada, singing in the New Zealand secondary schools choir. We've got a lovely picture of him as well in the story about how he started singing at 14 and now he's going so well.
Excellent. That's in tomorrow's ODT. Thank you, Phil. Time now for local weather.
This local weather report proudly brought to you in association with Silberhorn Sportsville.
Today's city view, it's taken of St Clair. And it looked quite lovely. Around the city at 3 o'clock today, 17 degrees for the central city, and the Tyree, 19 for the Gardens. To the situation, not much change here. The west to southwest flow is still blowing over the country this week as an anticyclone moves slowly across the Tasman. Well, to the forecast for some of the main towns in the lower South Island for tomorrow. Nor'westers with high cloud increasing in Invercargill, Gore and Te Anau. But a fine day for Alexandra with nor'westers 21 degrees there. Nor'westers and some high clouds in Queenstown. Fine with nor'easters for Oamaru. Fine with nor'westers for Wanaka and Twizel, 20 and 19 respectively. And Dunedin tonight remaining fine with a low of 9 degrees. Mostly fine and sunny tomorrow with nor'easters tending northwest from evening, 18 degrees. And on Friday, back to strong gusty nor'westers with some rain developing from evening, a high of 21 to look forward to. And to the Otago Pallet Fires tidal and fishing information, high tide tomorrow morning is at 5 to 6, low tide follows at 1:45. And fishing conditions look pretty good tomorrow, particularly around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Good luck. And that is local news for Wednesday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.